Mr Speaker. I will answer questions 3 and 4 together. This government is committed to halving violence against women and girls, and Baroness Harman will directly report to the Prime Minister and work across government to ensure that we deliver the urgent change that is needed. There are few who can match Baroness Harman's decades-long commitment to women and girls. She has consistently driven change, and I look forward to working closely with her in our new roles.
Robertson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. In March, the Prime Minister agreed to meet with survivors of abuse by Mohammed Fayed, the former owner of Harrods, Fulham Football Club and other businesses. Since then, before then and since then, almost 500 survivors have come forwards, and they have all been waiting for years and in many cases decades for justice. Can the Minister confirm whether the Prime Minister's advisor on women and girls will attend that meeting and what progress has been made on scheduling it?
Minister.
I thank my honourable friend for his continued leadership as co-chair of the All-Party Parliamentary Group on Survivors of Fayed and Harrods. I was in contact with Baroness Harman yesterday and will raise the possibility of her joining the Prime Minister's meeting with victim survivors. But I too would be humbled to meet with those who my honourable friend has been so powerfully advocating on behalf of, both in and outside this chamber.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I welcome the announcement of a record £100 million expansion of GPS tagging for domestic abusers following a pilot by Greater London Authority which saw reoffending fall by up to 63%. The current plans, however, will only apply to the highest risk offenders, given that all domestic abuse is serious and many perpetrators escalate their violence upon release. I'm concerned this will allow abusers to slip through the net. Will the Minister therefore consider extending GPS tagging to all convicted offenders of domestic abuse, not just those deemed high risk?
Minister.
I thank my honourable friend for her consistent and proactive support for domestic abuse victims. Ensuring that it is perpetrators and not victims who are punished and restricted is key to the Domestic Abuse Perpetrators on Licence pilot, the DAPL pilot that will be rolled out nationally from September. Offenders are tagged on release and subjected to strict conditions like exclusion zones and curfews. DAPL allow probation to tag any and all offenders who are considered to be at risk of perpetrating domestic abuse, but I would be happy to meet with her about her concerns.
Roger Gale.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Further to her response to the Honourable Gentleman, the member for Lichfield, and on the basis that justice delayed is justice denied, will she seek to use her good office with the Home Office to ensure that the Metropolitan Police expedites its investigations so that those hundreds of women who've suffered at the hands of Fayed can at last have the justice that they deserve?
Minister.
I thank the right honourable member for his question. And he is absolutely right that justice delayed is justice denied, which is why this government is taking such proactive steps to try and reduce the delays that victims are seeing. And I would be happy to meet with him and other members who I know are hugely concerned about the impact that these cases have had on victims and survivors.
Thank you,
Mr Speaker, and I welcome the Minister to her place. Almost the first thing that the Prime Minister's new advisor on women and girls did after she was appointed was to say on social media that Arooj Shah, the recently defeated leader of Oldham Council, should be given a peerage. This is despite the fact that Shah spent years trying to block a full inquiry into rape and grooming gangs in Oldham. What does the Minister think that says to victims and survivors, and how can they and the public trust her now? And I would also be interested to know whether the Minister agrees that Shah should be made a life peer.
Minister.
Baroness Harman's record speaks for itself. She has spent decades turning words into action, whether through landmark legislation, strengthening protections, or relentlessly pushing this issue up the political agenda, which should never be used for party political point scoring. It is this Prime Minister and this government who are determined to halve violence against women and girls. Our VOG strategy sets out the plan to do so, and we are getting on the job with delivering it.
Minister Dr. Kieran Mullen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I welcome the new Minister to her post? And for all the policies she might be glad to inherit, she's also inheriting a plan later this year to let out potentially thousands of the worst offenders against women and girls, including rapists and those responsible for sexual assault. And the government is refusing to be transparent about this, not answering FOIs and written questions about how many rapists and sexual assault offenders will be allowed out of prison earlier. Can this new Minister open a new leaf in this book and at least be transparent about how many rapists they're going to be letting out of prison later this year?
Minister.
The Conservatives left a criminal justice system where victims wait years for trials, where victims feel traumatised by their experiences in court, and where our prisons were full and the system at risk of collapse. Not to mention the probation service, which after their failed privatisation attempts was on its knees. It is this Labour government that is taking action to halve violence against women and girls, to reduce the time that victims wait to see justice, and to better support victims with record investment in victim support services.
Kieran, Mullen.
I'd ask the Minister to think about perhaps having a constituency surgery and a victim of rape coming to see her, perhaps their offender is currently in prison, and that rapist is now going to get out of prison earlier. And I wonder what that victim would think about the answer she's just given to a serious question about serious issues. If she is refusing to tell the House, at the very least, will the Minister commit to writing to all the women and girls who currently have an offender in prison, perhaps due to go out 2 years from now, 3 years from now, that's going to get out this year, and at least doing the good grace of telling them, the victims, when that's going to happen?
Minister.
I meet with constituents every week, and victims will always be my priority. The honourable member comes to this House time and time again, listing horrific offences, but not once has he apologised for the damage that his party did to our justice system. Victims won't forget the mess that they created. Victims won't forgive their failures to take action. Victims will not be fooled by their claims to care now. And it is this Labour government that is committed to halving against violence against women, and this Labour government that has the plan to make it happen.
Richard Quigley.
Question number 5, Mr. Speaker.
From bench, who wants it? Minister. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Perpetrators must not be allowed to use the family courts to further their abuse. While the family courts already have a range of tools designed to protect victims, we are going further by rolling out the child-focused courts model nationally.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. While I welcome the steps the Department has already taken to prevent perpetrators of domestic abuse from using the family courts to continue coercive control, will the Minister look at ensuring legal aid is accessible to victims in Pathfinder courts, particularly at decision hearings, given worrying reports that this has become nearly impossible to access in practice, so that perpetrators cannot exploit this process and continue their campaigns of harassment?
We're all too ready.
Can I thank my honourable friend for again speaking up on behalf of domestic abuse victims? I remember the powerful debate that he secured on protecting children from domestic abuse. Government recognises the vital role that legal aid plays in supporting victims of abuse. Child-focused courts, otherwise known as Pathfinder courts, have been rolled out to 10 court areas, most recently the Isle of Wight in January. Legal aid is available in child-focused courts for victims of domestic violence or those at risk of abuse, but we are aware that there are challenges affecting timely access. I'm happy to meet with my honourable friend on this issue and can assure the House that we are working to resolve this matter swiftly.
Rachel Gill.